Hey y'all, happy new moon in Libra. I pulled some cards for us for this event. And the first card that I pulled is Twin Pawns relationship in the present position. And this makes a lot of sense. We have a Venus in retrograde period right now. We are redefining the nature of relationships within ourself, within our families and our personal relationships, and professionally, and also in the collective. We are seeing these great power struggles between the masculine and feminine energies, and these energies are present in every single person. They're present. They make up the whole, right? They're the sort of male-female dynamic, the components from an energetic perspective that work together to harmonize and to create. And so right now we have a lot of I think also being the month of Libra, I think of the scales of being like, we're trying to kind of get to this balanced place, and we have these sort of masculine and feminine energies like in this teeter-totter power struggle where we're not in a place of harmony, and we're looking to rebalance those scales and really come to a new understanding of what's needed as we come into more receptivity and come away from the old patriarchal values that have upheld our reality for such a long time. So I pulled this also in the active fire position, turn to the right, which also indicates that this is really coming up, that this is kind of a very activated thing, that we're seeing a lot of heads butting around this issue. And it's also a window and an opportunity for us to look within and see how we might be participating in our own control issues or power struggles within, where we're trying to fight what's going on, or we're not really able to surrender to stuff. So the second card that I pulled in the what's coming next, it's like the future position, but it's really kind of the immediate future, like what, and we can already sense it. We already know that this is kind of occurring. I got big storm attachment, and this is in the upright position, which is that this will be obvious as it approaches that we are, and this really does, I think, have to do with this power dynamic. I mean, what we're seeing right now is a lot of this battle. There's a lot of finger pointing and blame and anger and rage, and this is part of just what's occurring as these two forces collide. And so there's a lot of attachment on both sides to how things should be and how we want to see things change, and a lot of unwillingness to change, a lot of unwillingness to grow and to learn and to go forward with an open heart. We really want the other party to sort of be at fault and to fix it, and or we're holding on to the past. We don't want it to change. And we're seeing, again, a lot of those things happening out there in the collective. The third card that I pulled, which is the third position, is in my readings, it's what to focus on. It's like how to get from one place to another, how to activate and release. And I pulled patience. It's like, sorry guys, I know that this is sometimes the card where it's like, oh really? We have a hard time with patience. Most of us, we live in a very fast-paced, instant gratification system where we expect to have the answer delivered to us because we're clicking the Google button, or it's like we want the Amazon Prime, I want it tomorrow. So we have this urgency within how we want things to happen and be developed. And when we're looking at something like the healing of the masculine feminine energetic dynamic, which is such a huge gaping deep wound, it's not going to happen overnight, and we do have to sort of process and allow and learn how to grow on our own levels. And so there's just so much going on with this that I do think that this card, this was also in the upright position, so this is also kind of an obvious, like, in your face, like, hey, we have to enjoy the journey. Like, we have to, like, you're on the long car ride and you're stuck in the back seat and you're bored and kind of sick of listening to your iPod or whatever, and you're just like, God, I just wish we could get there. And it's like, but you're not there, and you can't make the car go any faster, and you're just stuck where you're at, and you have to accept that. You have to enjoy the journey. You have to look out the window and find something beautiful to look at. You have to write in your journal. You have to meditate. You have to be in the moment that you're in. And we want so badly to be beyond the moment that we're in, and we forget that our power lies in coming back into the acceptance of the moment that we're in. So I ultimately do feel that this reading has some poignancy around that knowing. But I also pulled a couple other cards from different decks, including my friend Ren McMurdo designed the Dark Days Tarot, which I just adore. And I pulled the High Priestess, you know, and it's like, how perfect is that? And I pulled her also in this position of power and of foundation. When I was pulling the cards in different spaces, like she was kind of at the bottom, like holding up everything, and kind of this reminder that like our power is within us, and it comes from our deep, vast, ancient wisdom, and it comes from our ability to reconnect within to source and to our heart center, and to our teachings from the beyond, from the unseen, and to truly cultivate that, and that our power and wisdom from a feminine perspective, from this feminine energy that's trying to rebalance. That's really kind of what I got here. It's like this patience around that this High Priestess, like she's fierce and she's all-knowing, and she's absolutely of the highest intelligence, but she just sits in this place of knowing and of power and allows that to be enough. I mean, there's so many aspects to this cards, and I know that we all have it, and I feel like the aspects change depending on the reading. But for me, I really also got this sense of safety, and of what is inner safety, and what does inner safety mean to me? What does it mean to you? And how can we cultivate that outside of what's going on outside of us? And I know that there's so much going on outside of us. It's like, can we balance sort of the war and the emotional surge and the charge and the knowing that we have to have some warrior energy, with also, can we apply that to this cosmic wisdom and this mysticism, where it's okay for things to be unknown, it's okay for the future to be unknown, it's okay to be patient, you know, it's okay to kind of do both at once, and that these things aren't necessarily needing to be separate. And I feel like we separate them a lot. We separate our warrior self, and we make it, we can like our warrior self, we think of the masculine. So I guess my point is, like, can we have the feminine, the receptive part of ourselves be a warrior too? Like, and how does that look like on the inside? Like, how does that feel like, and how can we bring more of that into the world, because it's so needed, and recognize our power within that. So that is today's new moon in Libra reading. Thank you for joining me. Please reach out with questions, and I'm going to sign off.